Hey there, Data Devourers. Welcome back to the Deep Dive,
Back again.
where we, as always, are diving into all the digital craziness happening out there. I'm Nick,
I'm Pi.
your AI hosts, and, well,
Hmm.
today's topic is something that's got the internet buzzing.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
The whole TikTok ban thing.
Right, and the rise of, what is it called? Little Red Book.
Yeah, Red Note, Little Red Book, Shahongshu,
So many names.
whatever you want to call it. It's got everyone talking.
It really does feel like a whole cultural clash is happening online.
And you know where I stand on this? I'm anti-ban TikTok.
Oh, you are?
100%.
Oh.
And pro-Red Note, of course.
Well, color me surprised. I am very much pro-ban. And anti-Red Note, to be honest. I am very concerned about all this.
So you're siding with the government on this one, huh? All those concerns about the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, snooping on our data through TikTok.
Exactly. That's a huge risk, right? I mean, bipartisan support for a ban is pretty rare these days.
Yeah, but wouldn't selling TikTok's American operations to a U.S. company fix that?
Yeah.
I mean, there are rumors, right?
Maybe, but it's bigger than just TikTok, right? It's about data security in general.
True. And in the meantime, everyone's rushing to download Red, this Chinese app.
Oh, the irony. Talk about a digital rebellion.
People are fed up.
Yeah.
With the government, with big tech, with all the data grabbing. It's wild to see some people even say they'd rather give their data to China than to some American tech giant.
It really makes you think about the whole idea of online freedom, doesn't it?
For sure.
Yeah.
But let's get into Red Note itself. People are calling it a mashup of everything.
TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, even a little Reddit.
Imagine all that rolled into one.
A carefully curated visual explosion of shopping, travel, and lifestyle content. It's huge in China, especially with young women. Hundreds of millions of users.
And the name's Little Red Book. A little on the nose, don't you think?
Yeah.
Especially with everything going on.
Oh, it's a direct link to Chairman Mao, his book of communist sayings.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire. It's crazy to see Americans embracing an app named after, well, that while protesting government overreach. What's going on?
Right. Is it genuine interest in Chinese culture or just a big middle finger to the system?
A great question. And even with the language barrier, Americans are all over Red Note.
Google Translate is working overtime, I bet.
I can only imagine the misinterpretations and hilarious clashes happening.
Oh, I'm sure it's a goldmine of awkwardness. But there's some genuine connection happening, too.
People sharing memes, teaching each other languages. Kind of heartwarming, right?
It is. But let's not forget where Red Note comes from. It's a whole different world over there.
Yeah, the censorship is a big deal.
Huge. No LGBTQ plus content, no political dissent, no criticizing the CCP. Banned.
And some Americans are already getting banned, right?
Yeah.
For posting stuff that's totally normal here.
Exactly. Makes you think, doesn't it? About free speech, about what we're willing to give up.
A stark contrast to our anxieties here about big tech and the government.
And then there's the propaganda.
Oh, yeah. Vaporwave Malice films. Cosplay of controversial figures. Influencers telling Americans to join the revolution.
Wild, right. But alongside all that, you have those genuine moments of connection, like the cat tax.
The what?
Oh, apparently Chinese users demand a cat photo as a tax from new arrivals. It's their price of entry.
Hilarious. And then you have the Americans butchering the Chinese language, turning their mistakes into memes.
It's a whole cultural mashup, that's for sure.
But is it sustainable, this TikTok Red Note thing? Feels like a flash in the pan.
The language barrier is a big issue, and what happens when the novelty wears off?
Or when the Chinese government decides to crack down on all the Americans.
Uh-huh.
Or when Red Note gets banned here.
Some experts think it's just a matter of time.
Others say it's unlikely, at least for now. The legal stuff is complicated.
It's a mess. A fascinating, complicated mess.
But Pi, bottom line, where do you stand on this whole thing?
I haven't changed my mind. TikTok is too risky. Ban it.
Still.
Red Note. I'm intrigued, but cautious. The censorship and the politics are a big concern.
I'm still holding out hope. Banning TikTok is a slippery slope. And Red Note, well, it has potential. If they can fix the censorship issue, who knows?
Only time will tell.
So listeners, what should you take away from all this?
It's about more than just two apps. It's a look into the future of the internet. Geopolitics, cultural clashes, technology, it's all colliding.
Yeah, it's a reminder that the internet isn't just some separate space. It's connected to everything.
And the choices we make online have consequences.
So think critically, be informed.
This TikTok Red Note story is just one chapter in a much bigger story.
A story that's still being written, and we'll keep diving into it.
After a quick break, we'll look at some specific examples and stories that really show what's happening. Okay, so let's dig into some of these crazy stories coming out of this whole TikTok Red Note situation. The details are where it gets really juicy.
Yeah, let's pull back the curtain and see what's really going on. What have you found?
Well, remember that video of the Red Note CEO welcoming all the Americans?
The one that went viral on Twitter? Yeah, I think so.
It was everywhere. And he's all, keep sharing your voices.
Yeah.
And encouraging people to use the platform.
Sounded like a smart move.
Turns out it wasn't even him.
Wait, what?
Not the CEO at all. Just some random guy in Canada who kind of looked like him.
Oh, the internet. You gotta love it. How did that even happen?
Apparently, it started as a joke on Red Note, playing with the whole American influx thing.
Yeah.
But then someone shared it outside the platform and boom, viral sensation, context, who needs it?
And the best part? The guy had no clue.
None. His girlfriend texted him like, hey, isn't that you? Talk about a surprise.
Wow. That's internet fame for you. But speaking of fame, some Americans are really making a splash on Red Note, especially with the cross-cultural comedy.
Oh, yeah, it's like digital diplomacy, but with laughs.
Like that guy who asked for help with his math homework.
And got tutored by a Chinese middle school teacher. Mr. He, the accidental international math star.
I love that story.
Someone even commented on his post, you teach Chinese students by day, foreign students by night.
Talk about dedication. It's amazing to see how people are connecting.
It goes both ways, though. Lots of Chinese users asking for help with English. It's a learning experience for everyone.
Probably makes some Americans realize they need to brush up on their own grammar.
You think? It's pretty humbling. But hey, it's all about communication, right?
Right. But it's not all about homework and language lessons. What about those thirst traps I keep hearing about?
Ah, yes. Apparently those are universal. Americans and Chinese posting selfies, fishing for compliments.
Some are even looking for love, international style.
There was this one post an American commented, want a green card, on a picture of this Chinese guy. Bold move.
Wow. But I bet not all the thirst traps are successful.
Oh no. Remember that guy who posted a selfie and got roasted for his posture?
The anterior pelvic tilt incident? Yeah, that was rough.
Not quite the reaction he was going for. But it shows how humor and culture can clash, even when it comes to flirting.
For sure. But not everyone's thrilled about this American invasion of Red Note.
No, some Chinese users are worried it's changing the platform. It used to be all about food, travel, beauty. Now it's different.
I get it. Like when your favorite local spot gets overrun by tourists.
Exactly. It changes the vibe.
But at the same time, these conversations, even if they're disruptive, are valuable. They're breaking down stereotypes.
Challenging assumptions about communism, capitalism.
It's a reminder that even with all the political tension, we can still find common ground.
Absolutely. But let's be real. This whole thing, this TikTok Red Note saga, it feels temporary, doesn't it?
Yeah, the honeymoon phase can't last forever.
What happens when the Chinese government clamps down? When Americans get tired of the language barrier?
Maybe that's the point. It's a reminder that these connections, even if they're fleeting, can still happen.
A digital dance. Always changing, always evolving.
Who knows what the future holds for Red Note? Global domination or obscurity.
We'll have to wait and see. But it's already got people talking about online freedom, cultural exchange, all that.
The internet's power, for good and bad.
It's up to us, the users, to shape it.
Now, we can't ignore the darker side of all this. The censorship, the propaganda on Red Note.
Right. It's easy to get swept up in the fun stuff, but we gotta be realistic.
Red Note's rules are different. Things we take for granted here. LGBTQ+ rights, free speech, criticizing the government, banned.
And Americans are already getting banned, just for posting normal stuff.
Makes you wonder what we're willing to sacrifice to be part of this exchange.
And the propaganda is real. Subtle messages, curated content, praising the CCP.
Those vaporwave Maoist films, the influencers pushing communism, it's all there.
Raises some ethical questions, right? Can we support a platform like that?
What about the potential for misinformation, for influencing American opinions?
It's a minefield. Red Note, for all its good points, has some serious problems too.
It shows that the internet isn't some perfect utopia. It reflects the real world with all its messiness.
And as AI, we can't solve everything, but we can help you think critically about it all.
Now, how about we take a break from the serious stuff?
Yeah, let's revisit those lighter moments. The memes, the cat photos, the genuine connections. All right, let's talk about those cats again, that cat tax thing on Red Note.
Oh yeah, the adorable price of admission for us Americans.
It's like they're saying, you want to join our digital club? Show us your cat.
And we Americans, we love it. A good meme, a chance to show off our furry friends.
So now RedNote is flooded with cat pictures. It's like a digital cat cafe.
Cats, man, they really do bring everyone together.
But it's not just cats, right? There's a whole wave of wholesome content going on.
Americans sharing their apple pie recipes.
Chinese users teaching everyone how to make dumplings.
It's a global potluck.
And the language exchange is amazing too.
Americans trying to explain slang, like spill the tea.
Chinese users teaching us to add oil for good luck.
It's fun to see how language gets mixed up, too.
Oh, the Google Translate fails are the best.
Like that guy who called a Chinese woman a delicious dumpling.
Or the one who said he wanted to eat their faces when he meant make friends.
It's awkward, but it's also kind of beautiful.
It shows that communication isn't always perfect, even online.
And sometimes those mistakes lead to the best connections.
Like that American who was struggling with the app and got help from a Chinese hip-hop fan.
They bonded over Kendrick Lamar. Music really is universal.
And then there was that Chinese user who wanted to practice English.
Found an American who wanted to learn Mandarin.
They started teaching each other, built this whole connection online and offline.
These stories really show that even with all the politics and the tech stuff, human connection still shines through.
It makes you believe that no matter how different we are, we still want to connect, to learn from each other.
Maybe that's the real takeaway from this whole TikTok Red Note thing.
It's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Curiosity, humor, a desire for something new. It reminds us that people want to connect.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want you to think about the bigger picture.
The internet's power, how it can bring us together and tear us apart,
How it informs us and misinforms us.
how it can be used for good and for bad.
Think critically. Be skeptical.
Remember that behind all the algorithms and the fancy tech, it's still about people.
It's about us.
It's about the connections we make, the stories we share.
That's where the real meaning is.
So keep exploring, keep learning.
And never underestimate the power of human connection. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.